Mr. Gibson here. So today's lesson, part 2 of our introduction to linear functions, we're going to be using what we call the slope-intercept form to write and graph a linear equation. So let's look at our objectives. First one says that, how do we graph a linear function using the slope-intercept form? And then if I give you the graph of it, can you write the equation in slope-intercept form? All right, so what does slope-intercept form look like? Here it is in the blue box, y equals mx plus b. Now, in the previous lesson, we talked about the slope and the y-intercept as being two key characteristics of a linear function. So we use both of those to write the slope-intercept form. M equals the slope, and b is the y-intercept, or the y-coordinate, where the graph or the line of the linear function crosses the y-axis. So let's say we want to write the equation of this line here in our example. Let's put an actual point up here. We see that the line goes through at the red dot 0, 2. So the y-intercept, we want to identify that first, is going to be the y-coordinate, or 2. So b equals 2. Now the slope we want to find, and we can simply, if on the graph, is count the rise and the run to get from one point to another. So let's do that. Okay. We're going to go down 2, so that'll be a -2, and then we're going to go 4 to the right. That would be a +4. And so that gives us, if we simplify it, a -1/2. So we found b, the y-intercept. We have found the slope, m, -1/2. Now we just simply need to put that into the slope-intercept form. So we wind up with y equals -1/2 times x plus 2. All right, let's look at one more example here. Same thing, we want to write the equation of the line shown in the graph. So first, let's find the y-intercept. In this case, the line crosses the y-axis at -4. Let's look at the slope. So let's figure out our rise. We're going to go up 4, and we're going to go to the right 3. So up is positive, to the right is positive. So we get a slope of 4/3, and now we can write our equation in slope-intercept form. Y equals 4/3 times x minus 4. Now, what if I just ask you to write the equation and then graph it? Okay, so if I give you the y-intercept and the slope already, we don't need to determine either. We just need to use that and put it into the slope-intercept form, right? So our b value, where it crosses the y-axis, is at -4, and the slope is 7/4. So we can just simply put in 7/4 for m and -4 for b. So we have our equation. Now, how do we graph that? We're going to start by graphing the y-intercept. b is -4, so it means it's going to cross the y-axis at -4. And we use our slope to find a second point. If we can have 2 points on the graph, then we can draw the line and know what it looks like. So 7/4, a rise of 7 means we go up 7. And then a run of 4 means we go over 4. And then we can draw our line through that. So that's what we're going to be working on this lesson. Let's do a few more practice. You can pull out your whiteboard and work on these as we go through them. So first one is graph the line for the equation. So this is what we just showed in the previous example. We're given the equation. We have the slope and the y-intercept. The y-intercept is 5. So we can put that point first on the y-axis. And then we're going to use the slope to find a second point. So here we go. We're going to go down 7. So let's go down 7, since it's -7. And then we're going to go +4. So 4 to the right. And there we have our second point. And we can now draw the line through those 2 points. Let's try another one. See if you can do this, and then pause the video and then continue it. All right, our y-intercept is -6. So let's put -6 on the y-axis as our first point. Let's locate another point using the slope. So we're going to go up 5, +5. So we go up 5, and then we're going to go a -3 run, which negative means we're going to go to the left in the negative x direction. So there's our second point, and now we can put our line through the graph. Let's try one more. Y equals 4/3 x plus 2. So pause the video, see if you can graph it, and then check your answer. So our y-intercept is +2. Put that point on the y-axis. Our slope is 4/3, both positive, so we're going to go up 4 and over 3. And now we can draw our line through those 2 points. Let's try another one here. Y equals -2/5 times x. Now, what's different about this one? Notice it does not have a b value. Well, it actually does. It's just that the b value is equal to 0. The x or the y-intercept is going to be at the origin, 0, 0. So let's put that point in the middle. Now, we use our slope to find a second point. So -2/5. So we're going to have a rise of -2, which means we're going to go down 2. And then we have a run of 5, +5. We're going to go 5 to the right. And now we have our 2 points, and we can draw our line. We can see that it does go through the origin. Now, if I give you the line, can you write the equation? So first we need to identify the y-intercept. We see here that it goes through +3 on the y-axis. So our b value is going to be 3. Let's find the slope. Well, we can just pick another point. Let's say the y or the x-intercept. So we're going to go 4 to the left. That's our run, -4. And we're going to go down 3. So that's our rise, -3. Now, a negative divided by a negative gives us a positive. So we'll go ahead and simplify that. So now we're ready to write the equation. Y equals 3/4 x times x plus 3. All right, let's do another one here. Write the equation in the slope-intercept form for the graph line. Now, notice the line. We have our y-intercept, right? It goes through the point -2. But what is our slope? So this is one of those special cases. If we have a horizontal line, it means that the slope is 0. There's no rise or run, or no rise rather, right? We only move back and forth in the x direction. So we would say we have a slope of 0. So when we plug that into our equation, 0 times x is still 0. So we could basically cancel or drop out that term, and we're just left with y equals -2. So notice all we care about is that y is equal to -2. X can be any value along that line. All right, so that's our lesson for today. We know how to graph a linear function using the slope-intercept form. And if I give you the graph, you can write a linear function using the slope-intercept form. That's it. Go ahead and start working on the assignment.